Good morning, Encik Azmi. Thank you so much for joining the Light Breakfast this morning. How are you feeling today? Good?
So far so good. After a lot of rendang and this raya cookies.
Oh,
So,
nice. How was your raya? How was the new norm raya this year?
yeah, I mean, new norms, stay at home, raya at home, not like before we visited. Even my sisters still nearby, but with the new norm, we're not able to do so. So just trying to get used to it, and I think the children also trying to get used to it. So it should be okay.
So it was just the immediate family, right? All right. Now let's talk about how SMEs can come back stronger after MCO, because you are the CEO of SME Corp Malaysia. Now, what has the effect been on the SME industry since the start of MCO?
Okay, since the start of MCO, earlier this year, I think the forecast or most reports saying that 2020 going to be a good year to the country, and with that positive economic outlook, SMEs would benefit because year on year, always SME GDP grows 1.5 to 1.5% above national GDP. So, I mean, everything looks good. Then we have this COVID-19 and MCO started. So, MCO and COVID-19 issues is not something that industry expected. It is unprecedented, and then so everybody caught unprepared. Not just industry, everybody, not just in Malaysia but also globally, we caught unprepared, and from there we start to balance out health issues against economic issues. And when MCO started, two things stopped: economic activities, and the other one is social activities. I mean, networking, all those things stops. And I mean, when it comes to economic activities, activities stop, but contracts or as stipulated in time of essence still continue. We stop the activity, but we cannot stop time. So all those obligations need to be fulfilled. Then, of course, the one that affect most our SMEs, because 90% of our business establishment, SMEs, they are in the services sector. And the services sector dependent on brick and mortar or premise-based operation, like retail, F&B, and so on. So based from that, I mean, they have to pay their rental, they have to pay their staff, so, but they cannot get their revenue, or they cannot roll their funds. So, of course, they have issues on squeeze in cash flow. The cash flow, they need cash flow to pay their commitments, their loans. They need cash flow to pay their salary, the statutory obligations, and also to pay whatever commitments regarding rentals and other commitments that they have to pay. So they experience squeeze in cash flow. And our SMEs, we have small, medium, and micro. For micro SMEs, they face different challenge or different issues compared to small and also medium. Micro SMEs, they are, I mean, they're living on day to day. They have to do business. If they don't do business, they cannot. They might not even have enough cash to sustain their own life. Unlike small business, they have office, they have other commitments. But micro business, very often they don't have their office. I mean, they deploy in outlets, or I mean, they deploy products, or they work in various places. But the micro business, they're easy. I mean, they can stop and they can restart very fast, and they can change their business from doing, say, selling nasi lemak. The next day, they might be selling goreng pisang, or they might be selling tudong or something. They're small in numbers, and they can change and they can move fast. But small and medium size, especially medium size, they're big size, and they cannot move as fast as micro or small size business. So both facing squeeze in cash flow issues, just at different areas, the extends to a different degree. So that's what they face, and then the government's based on feedbacks that we receive from the grounds and reports that we put up to the ministry, the ministers, and also the councils. That's where package Prihatin PKS, which was released months ago, actually to cushion SMEs with, when they're facing the impact of COVID-19. So it's to cushion the impact. So this is where we hope that SMEs will be able to hold on.
Is it sufficient though, Encik Azmi? The stimulus package, the 10 billion ringgit given by the government, is it sufficient to keep all these SMEs in business? Yeah,
I mean, sufficient or not sufficient might, I mean, if you have more, you need to give more. But I think in this scenario, we tried, or the focus more towards the most needed. And about 70% of SMEs is in the micro areas and also small size. So only about, I think, 5% in the medium size. So the focus is more micro and small, especially micros. And this is where they have this Bantuan Prihatin grant 3,000 just for micros to restart their business, because they need that to hold their daily income. Apart from the things like the code handling micro financings up to 10,000, 0% interest, and then BSN also up to 75,000, 0% interest. And the rest is like things like SRF, which mainly target a bigger size SMEs. So this meant to be to cushion, so to help SMEs to handle or to face the impact of MCO and COVID-19. So that's the objective.
Okay. And but what other measures is the government going to introduce? Other measures to further support SMEs, and how would you say is how much would you say is enough? Do you think it will ever be enough? Like
there will never be enough, but we have to balance against what we need most, and then what I mean, between needs and want. So we have to balance that.
What is needed most right now, and is the government helping SMEs with it?
Okay, one thing for sure is to help indirectly to help SMEs to retain employment. Because at the moment, SMEs contribute to about 66.2% of the total employment offering in the country. That's about 7.1 million of employment. So we want SMEs to survive, and then so that employment could be retained. So when employment is there, definitely it will not lead to any other issues because people have jobs. But once people don't have jobs, so we will start to see bigger issues that we need to handle. That is one on the social side. On the other side is for SMEs, when we're looking at to restart the economy or restart the activities. If any SMEs retrench their workers, when the market start to pick up, they have to go through again to go through trainings, build up capacity of their workers. So just that these interim measures or this few months or 1 year period that we need to assist these SMEs. So that's what government looking at to retain employment, so that when we want to, the economy start to pick up, our SMEs is ready and competitive. So that's, I think, the key things that what we've been pushing for.
Okay, speaking about retaining employment, right? I think the government has provided via Pekeso for these wage subsidies.
Yes.
But it's only
correct.
for a couple of months, as I understand.
Yep. Yes, because one of the condition is for the SMEs to retain employment at least 6 months. Yeah.
Okay. So it's only for the next 6 months. But you were saying that probably it will take SMEs another year or so before they can pick up again.
Yeah, because when during MCO, before PKPB, very minimal, only essential services allowed to operate. Now we only limit, those in negative list that not allowed to operate. So we start to open back the economy, we start to open back the activity. So I believe the industry will start to, or the economic activities will start to give back. Gaining positive activities in the next few months. Then hopefully the cash flow from their activities would assist SMEs to sustain their operation. So the focus in most scenario, I advise the SMEs not to look at profit making most of the time, but this year just look at to survive. What needs to be done to survive.
Okay. So you were saying that you advise all these SMEs, but have you been able to advise the government on additional measures in rehabilitating the SME industries?
Yeah, that not just SME Corp, but I think the ministry itself, the Ministry of Entrepreneur Development and Cooperative, our ministers also been pushing for it, apart from the Economic Action Councils and also Ministry of Finance. So I think the whole government machinery is looking at because economic issues or economic sustainability to the country is the interest of the government, not the whole government itself. So not just one organization. So it's been in the I would say in most of the meetings that was discussed.
But from SME Corp's point of view, what are some of the measures needed to help revive back the SME industry?
Well, I think the Ministry of Entrepreneur Development, I think last week our minister released what we call Plan Pemulihan Usahawan dan Koperasi. So under this Plan Pemulihan, we have about 6 core strategies. One of the strategies is to bring back the people to the market, because we do observe that once PKPB started, only I think we have issues like people not coming or people still afraid to come out. So that is one. We need to bring back the confidence to the SMEs and also confidence to the market itself. Start to restart the economic activities. Then things like to increase capacity buildings for SMEs through trainings, through financial assistance or grants for SMEs to increase their capability and capacity. But this we looking more towards embracing utilizations and then maybe towards Industry 4.0 adoptions. So these are the focus that we're looking at. Then, of course, access to financing. We're not just looking at financing, conventional financing, but also what alternative financing we're able to do, like P2P or in equity financing, because it is this era is a different era and there is no reference. So whatever we do is something that going to be history. I mean, so it's not something that you can refer to what had happened. There is no proven guidelines, or there is no proven approach to address it. But you have to do check and balance every day. Once you deploy, you have to check. Once you deploy, you have to check. That's what we've been doing. And then adoption of technology, of course, innovations is the key. This is where our SMEs need to embrace more in terms of technology, and then do digitalization. Online platform is a must now, especially if you're in the food business or you in the maybe in retails in areas. Food business, we don't have online. Definitely, we have. You have enough clients to sustain, so you have to have your own or embrace any platforms. So, we believe that the future, or we need to go regional, site-based, because with restriction in cross state or cross border movement. For medium-sized business, might not be an issue to deliver or transport their products into other states. But for micro and small-sized business, they used to deliver the product on their own. So now they have to get a service to deploy. But some of them, the quantity might not be sufficient for them to deploy. So this is where SME Corp looking at to build up regional-based linkages so that SMEs are able to supply first within that area. Because all this while we know that some SMEs, say SMEs in Kampar, for example, you cannot find the product in Kampar, but you can find the product elsewhere in Ipoh or in Kuala Lumpur. But this is where now SMEs need to make sure that their product available within their areas and then accessible to their potential clients in that area. So it's more regional-based activities that need to be aggregated. Then the last part is, of course, deliverables that effective deliverables and delivering projects or programs is going to be challenging to most government agencies, because we need to swiftly move towards online, towards platforms to deliver the service, and then with minimum face-to-face interview, face-to-face communications, minimum visit. So all this is a new norm to all these agencies. But we have to get used to it, and then enhance our delivery effectiveness through this new norms, new mechanism that must be adopted.
So e-commerce is the way to go, yeah, in Azmi. Everybody has to embrace e-commerce now.
Yeah, I agree. Because if you notice, last year when people asked me about utilizations, because early last year we released a study between SME Corp and Huawei, and that's from that study, about 85% of our SMEs computerized. Only 32% that ready to be digitalized or already digitalizing their business. So it means everybody have computer, but they're only relying on word processor or spreadsheets, but they don't use it in using a system or at least bring their products into online or into a platform. So then we foresee that only by 2023 or 2024, our industry will be able to be digitalized. At least everybody will be using cashless transactions by 2023 or 2024 in their transactions. But with MCO, I think MCO done wonders in utilizations, where I mean, if it's in January, if I told you that in 5 months we all be doing meetings through video call, nobody would believe that. But now everybody is, I mean, video call is something, is a norm. But to me, it's a good thing because save a lot of times traveling, because sometimes, I mean, I have to attend meetings here and there, and then I would spend in a day maybe few hours in the car, moving from places to attend meetings. But now, by just video call, I'm able to attend most of the meetings, and then that's good for me. But sometimes you start to forgot, I mean, whether it's day or night, and then you keep meeting after meeting, and then way past your normal time, and then I think it's more tiring sometimes. So, but yeah, it's the new norms. There are new things that we have to adopt. Okay. So that's the things in, I mean, utilizations. So now I think we'll take much more faster, just a proper push for SMEs to adopt utilizations and be on platforms.
How about these SMEs that are in the service industry who cannot digitalize their platforms? For example, like hairdressers or, you know, massage parlors and things like that. Like, how are they going to come back stronger after this?
Yes. Okay. I know that they're on the negative list. I mean, they're not allowed to open yet. I think the main concern is the SOP relates to it. So unless there are good proposals on the SOPs, I believe if it's being pushed forward through the right ministry, through MITI, and so I think that's what the associations in this area need to look at and propose to the government, convincing SOPs. While that being done, or for the industry to be taken out of the negative list, I think industry need to look at what they could do other than doing it. I mean, doing that. For example, those in the hair salon, maybe start looking into different kind of business, online selling products for hair treatment or something like that, or doing a lot of YouTubes on how to do things and build names and build products. I mean, look at it a different way, or delivering their products to the market. I think it is, for example, we know one company that used to be in the tourism area as the I think travel agents business, but they have a good online team that handling this tourism business earlier. And when MCO started, they shift their expertise into assisting micro and also small, medium-sized company to go onto platforms like WhatsApp platforms and other alternative platforms. So and they're doing very well. I mean, over this MCO, I was told they're making about 17 million. So
wow,
that's yeah. So that is something. I mean, although in tourism industries, but they're able to shift their operations into something different. That's medium-sized business. But still, if it's for small and micro-size, I think online is the other alternative platform they should look at, and then change their product into that things that they were able to deliver through online. And that should help a lot in their business.
Yeah. I guess it's time for businesses also to innovate, right? To innovate.
Yeah.
Now, what's your message?
So it's all about adapt and thrive. Don't adapt and you suffer. Or is there a list that SME Corp has or the government has that looks at, there's a positive companies, there's some negative companies. Are there some companies that will not be able to survive in the new norm and they have to try to figure out something else? Is there such a list?
If the entrepreneurs read it, one is the COVID-19's everybody. I mean, it's not a safe. So it will not be safer unless there's a vaccine. And then, reading from that, we know that until there is such a vaccines, we would be in this. At least we will live by SOPs. We will live by social distancing. We have to live by queuing to get into an outlet, and we have to live by, not to eat in or dine in, but more to take away. And if you eat in, maybe only 1 to 2 or 3. We would not be able to, like before. We have the whole office eat in. Yes. So that is the norms that at least as mentioned by many, 1.5 years to go to get such a vaccine. So that if we could find a vaccine. So if the vaccine is still not found or not being able to be developed, then this is the norms, the new things that we have to get used to. And this, judging from that, entrepreneurs should be able to read whether should I wait, should I change my business, because 1.5 years is not that. Especially for micro business, 1.5 years is not that short. It's very long for micro. But for medium-sized business, maybe it's short because it depends on the way they operate. But yes, business have to really think about it, and then the new norm is here. Maybe it's here to stay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Azmi, what's your message to SME business owners who actually might be feeling, the negative effects of COVID-19 and the MCO?
Okay. I like to use the term validate your business. Validations, normally we do validations, especially for new proposals or when you want to commercialize products. Or we want to introduce a new product, we want to test the market, we validate whether the product is relevant or not. But validation exercise is also important when we are in this scenario, because MCO change people habits or change people norms. What used to be, for example, when you want to go to outlet now, you have to queue, and sometimes queue is not that. It's going to be a long queue, and only a limited number of person will be able to get into the outlets. And with that, people would no longer do window shopping. You only get into outlet, you will need to queue if you're looking for something that you really need to buy. So this is where approach will be different, because you might when before people window shopping and come across to your product, but now people didn't do window shopping. Then you need to advertise online. You need to tell people where your product available, so that people would willing to queue to get that product. And this is another change scenario. And then, like I mentioned as well earlier, luxury goods might not be the things now, because when you have LV, you cannot show off that LV to anybody. So only your family members. So that unless you have mask with LV mask, that will be different, because you take selfie with LV mask. So these are the things that scenario, change in scenario. You need to validate back whether your business still relevant or not. And then if your business, would not be able to sustain, this is where you need to look at your models. Quick advice that if you're in retail, if post PKP or PKPB or during now, if within months or 3 months, within 3 months, you cannot sustain your operations in that outlet, you need to look back whether you should continue or not. Or because either you continue with a different product or you change your space, your outlets. For example, like F&B, if you used to have two-door premise to run your F&B products, so now most of your, I believe, most of the F&B operators now, only the kitchens are active, and the dine-in areas not in use. So maybe you have to consider not to, just to have one door premise, and then maybe restructure your one door premise, make the kitchen bigger, and then create a space for all these riders to wait or for delivery or delivery counter. So change of the way do things and make what matter most to that particular business. So that's involved models, change of business models. And when change of business model, you have to look at 4 different areas. One is the operation models, and then you have to look at their financing models, their marketing models, and their profit models. So when they look at that 4 areas and they validate, they look at that 4 areas, and definitely they know what to do next. So this advice to SMEs that I like to pass on, because it is important, because these crucial times. Again, don't look for profits this year. Just look how you can survive and how you can retain employment, because you've done a great jobs when you're able to retain your employments and survive through this COVID-19 issues or era.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Encik Azmi, what is your outlook in terms of our Malaysian economy for the rest of the year 2020 and even on to 2021? What's the outlook like, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think like what being reported by DOSM or Bank Negara as well. So, we 2 months not in operations. Economic activities, I would say, going down due to NCO. So definitely the outlook for the year, we're not looking at, we're not expecting a good performance for 2020. But definitely people start, economic activities start to come back, and then building up the momentum, and definitely by 2021 we will see positive outcome. So that's what we're looking at. Everybody looking at that. So that's why, like I mentioned earlier, again, 2020 is just to survive, but look at 2021 to come back and then make the most out of it, because post 2020, the whole world economic structure might not be the same anymore.
Yeah.
You countries that most affected might not performing like they used to be, and even in our region, the outlook, or the possibility, the change in economics performance of each of the countries within ASEAN members also interesting to look at. Things might change, and then this is how well our SMEs prepare ourselves, and then how well our SMEs capture or realizing the opportunities originally, and works from there. So it's a as again, there's no textbook that you should do this, you should do that. This is a different scenario, different era. So we do as we go on and then improvise from there.